My dad said men shouldn't cry. Then my little brother made him cry. My dad has always been the kind of man who thinks emotions are weakness. Real men don't cry. Real men handle their problems. I heard it my entire childhood. When I was 7 and needed stitches, he told me to stop whimpering. When my pet rabbit died at 10, crying over an animal was ridiculous. When I didn't make varsity volleyball at 14, I was being dramatic. Every emotional moment came with the same message. Suck it up, move on, don't let anyone see you break. Last month, my best friend Ashley died. She had leukemia, was doing well with treatment. Then one Wednesday, she just didn't wake up. I found out during first period and locked myself in the bathroom crying so hard I couldn't breathe. Mom picked me up and when we got home, Dad was in the garage. He came inside, found me on the couch with swollen eyes, and said exactly what I expected. You need to pull yourself together. Crying isn't going to bring her back. You have to be strong now. Something inside me snapped. I told him I didn't want to be strong, that Ashley was dead and I was allowed to be devastated. My voice got louder and his face turned red. He started saying life would throw harder things at me, but Mom stepped between us and told him if he couldn't be supportive, he needed to leave. He walked back to the garage and didn't come home until late. Ashley's funeral was Saturday. Her mom asked me to speak and I barely made it through without breaking down completely. When we got home, I went straight to my room. Dad avoided me the entire next week, unable to handle being around my grief. The following Friday, my little brother Ethan knocked on my door looking nervous. He told me he'd been having nightmares about death, and every time he tried talking to Dad about being scared, Dad told him to toughen up. Ethan said he felt like something was wrong with him for being affected, like he was failing at being the strong son Dad wanted. I hugged him and explained that having feelings was normal and healthy, that Dad's way wasn't the only way or even a good way. The next afternoon, Ethan had a baseball game. Scouts from the high school team called the T-Trackers would be there and Dad had been talking about it all week. We sat in the bleachers watching Ethan pitch. First few innings went great, but in the fourth inning, a batter hit a line drive that came screaming back toward the mound. Ethan tried to catch it, but the ball hit him directly in the face before his glove came up. The sound was sickening. He dropped immediately and Dad was over the fence running before the coaches even moved. When we reached him, there was blood everywhere. His nose was clearly broken, maybe his cheekbone too. He was crying from pain and fear and embarrassment. Then Ethan looked right at Dad and said something that made my stomach drop. I'm sorry for crying. I'm trying to be strong like you want. I'm sorry I'm being weak right now. I watched my dad's face change in that moment. The ambulance loaded Ethan onto a stretcher and Dad rode with him while Mom and I followed. At the hospital, they confirmed his nose was broken and his cheekbone fractured. They had to reset his nose right there, essentially re-breaking it. Ethan grabbed Dad's hand and asked him to stay. I watched from the doorway as Dad held Ethan's hand while tears ran down Ethan's face. Dad's voice shaking as he said, "It's okay. You're doing great." When it was over, Ethan fell asleep from pain medication. Mom went to do paperwork and I stayed in the room with Dad, who just sat staring at Ethan. Then he started talking without looking at me. He said when he was Ethan's age, his own father used to hit him for crying. He learned early that feelings got you hurt, so he buried everything. He thought he was protecting us by teaching us not to cry. But watching Ethan apologize for crying while his face was broken made him realize he'd been doing the same thing his father did, just without physical violence. His voice cracked and I looked at him in shock. And what happened next changed our family forever. The rest of the story is on my channel or linked below.